Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Welcome to Lady Khadija radiallahu anha online college, live lesson on A-level maths year 2, pure maths and its composite functions, chapter 2, example 11. Okay, let's begin with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Let's begin with two functions. First one is 3x plus 2, and we're going to call that function f of x. And we're going to have a second function, g of x, and that's going to be equal to x squared plus 4. If I asked you to substitute a number into any one of these, I'm sure you'd be okay with it. But this time what we want to do is put the whole function into the other function. So if I can just grab the brush. Okay, that's not working, so I'll just show you. So this time, let's just put a squared though. Having problems here. So let's start that again. F of x equals 3x plus 2. No, it's not working. Okay, that looks like it's better. So two functions. First one, as you've seen already, is 3x plus 2. And the second one, which we're calling g of x, is x squared plus 4. And if it was a number that was going into any of these equations, you'd put that number here, where the x is. But today we're going to go a bit more advanced, and we're going to put a whole expression into the function. So imagine if I had to put in the expression 3 plus x. I could put that into brackets and it would go into the same place where the number goes. On this side, if I had to put in a new function, let's say the function was 10x, then I could put again brackets around the 10x and put that exactly where the number would go if I was just substituting in a number. So that's what we want to aim to do today. But which expression are we going to be substituting in? Well, it depends on which order the function comes in. So with the f first and then the g, you need to read it backwards like we were doing with the numbers yesterday. So it's taking the function g of x and whatever that expression is, whatever the algebra is, x squared plus 4 in this case, imagine putting brackets around that and putting it into the f function where the x is. So let's show you very, very slowly. We're reading it backwards, and with the first thing you see is the g function. So you look at the g function, it's x squared plus 4, and it's that whole thing that needs to be replaced or substituted where the x is here. So let's try that. Let's put all of this, x squared plus 4, into this bit here. So I'd have equals 3 would come, and then instead of x, I'd have the x squared plus 4. Let me put the squared on now. And then I'd have the plus 2. And then try and expand that out. So everything in the brackets gets times by 3. So I have 3x squared plus 12. And then the plus 2 at the end is just plus 2 at the end. The plus 12 and the plus 2 can make plus 14. And that's your final answer for f gx. So just to repeat the beginning bit was the really crucial bit. When you're looking at substituting one function into the other, you have to be able to tell which function is going into which function. So if you can just type into the chat window, when it says fgx, am I best looking from left to right, reading it forward, so f comes first, or am I better to read it backwards, so that if I'm reading it backwards, then the g comes first. I see the g first. Which way is the easier way? Okay, good. So backwards, right to left. So the first thing you see is the g, so now you know your focus is on taking the function which is g, x squared plus 4, and putting that into the function f. Whereabouts does it go in the function f? Just where a number would go, which is the x. And the advantage of putting it into brackets is just makes it clearer what's going into what. And then the rest is just easy manipulation. Okay, good. Okay, let's try the other way now. So we're going to replace this with a new question, which is gfx. So if you want to have a quick go at that, see if you can do the first line at least. Reading it backwards, you've got f of x, so that's your focus, 3x plus 2. Try and put brackets around that. And we're putting that whole thing into the g function. So take that whole thing in your mind and put it exactly where a number would go, which is where the x is. See if you can write the first line before me in the chat window. So I'm taking that whole 3x plus 2, I'm putting it into here, so there's nothing before the x, so that's exactly the first thing I write. The 3x plus 2 being put in the place where the x is, and then straight after the x is a squared plus 4. So let's see how you did. 3x plus 2 squared is good, excellent, plus the 4. Okay, and then you would normally just expand that out or simplify. So the next line would be, remember 3x plus 2 squared really means 3x plus 2 twice, plus the 4. Expand that out, you'll have 9x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 4, and then plus the other 4. And then that would simplify to 9x squared plus 12x plus 8. Okay, good. And the next one now is going to look a little bit tricky, but it's not hard at all. It's f squared x. But here the f squared doesn't really mean that we have to square anything. It just means that I've got f twice, because power 2 is just a short way of writing the number twice. So f squared x really means that it's f twice. So f twice means, let's read it backwards. I'm starting with the function f of x, that's 3x plus 2, and I'm putting it into another version of f. So what I need here in this case is another version of x. I can take the g of x and put it to the side. And now I just got to figure out whereabouts does it go. So the whole thing, the 3x plus 2, that's your f of x on the right hand side. That needs to go into the same function, a new version of f of x, exactly where the x is, exactly where the numbers would go. So that would be equal to, I see the 3 first, then the x gets replaced for the whole 3x plus 2, and then you've got the plus 2. And then simplify, 9x plus 6 plus 2, and the 6 plus 2 can be simplified to 8. So that's how you do that one. Okay, and the final one today is if we want to solve an equation. So starting with the same functions, but this time we want to solve the equation. And the equation is that if we take f of gx and we want to make the answer equal to 62, then what value of x would I put in? Firstly, what would the function be? And what value of x would I put in to get the answer out as 62? So the actual question I've simplified made it look a bit easier, but the real question in the book is this. Now, what value of b would you put in to the function fg to get 62 out? So we start by reading it backwards. So we're saying that we're putting in b, we're taking the function g and we're putting it into f. So we've done this already and it won't take long, so let's do that. So putting it into f has got a 3 at the beginning. Then comes the x, but the x is getting replaced with x squared plus 4. Then comes the plus 2. Okay, normally you expand and simplify, but I'm just going to leave it like that at the moment. And instead of using the letter x, all we're going to do is swap that for a b. So nothing too hard about that. So let's put a b there. And we've got to make it equal to 62. So that's all we're asked. That's all it comes down to, is that if I need to get 62, what value of b shall I put in? And I can use inverse operations here. I can start with 62 and I can do the opposite of everything. So firstly, I can take off a 2 and I can divide by a 3 and I can take away the 4. Order is very important here. We're working outside in. So starting with the 62, take off the 2 and that'll get me 60. Then divide by 3 and that'll get me 20. And then take off 4, 16. And then finally you got the square. The opposite of that is square root. So you get 4 or minus 4. So we'll just go with 4 on this one. But just put a plus and a minus before it to show that it could be either one. Okay, join me next time and we'll do more work on functions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be with you and the mercy and blessings of God.